The interesting thing about fire investigations is that the way that we're set up with the Columbia Fire Department, our investigators are not law enforcement officers. So when we do have a fire that we deem as suspicious, we have to call in the Columbia Police Department. Fortunately for the Columbia Fire Department, we have a program now where there's a detective that is assigned to the fire department, so we can actually work on suspicious cases with one particular person, not just a random detective assigned.
When you combine both agencies, and I'm fortunate I get to work with both, my training as a police officer and as a detective, along with my training in the fire investigations, it makes me more effective in the arson investigations. Not necessarily in the cause and origin. I understand that that's not my role. My role is to conduct the investigation and conduct interviews.
The earlier in an investigation we have police involved, the better the results we will have. So generally we will call them to the scene. While we're doing our investigation part, they will start working the police part. They'll start doing interviews. Together we will collect evidence. We can take that evidence and send it to the Highway Patrol lab for evaluation. That's when I think that we start working together as a team, and that's when we're more effective, so we have the police involved at the scene versus a day or two later. Early one weekend morning, Columbia fire crews got a call for a possible structure fire on the northeast side of Columbia. Newspaper deliverer was driving through a neighborhood early in the morning. I think it was around 5 in the morning. And what he thought was kind of fog was actually smoke from a house. As he drove past, he noticed there was a residence on fire and immediately called 911. Our fire crews got there pretty quick, extinguished the fire, found that the fire had started on the exterior of a house, and at this time there were several people sleeping in the house.
There was a Duralog that had been shoved up underneath the exterior siding of a residence. The paper had actually fallen down to the ground. You could see Duralog written on the paper. Obvious incendiary fire. Somebody set this fire. There were 4 occupants inside the residence at the time, 2 females and 2 males. What we learned was one of the females who was inside the residence had a boyfriend that was not at the residence. She was visiting another man at that house. The boyfriend had dropped her off at the house. There had been some disagreement on her even going over there. He didn't like the fact that she was going over there. Felt that she was probably having some sort of affair with one of the guys who was there. So right away, he's a person of interest.
We kind of split up doing different things. I was assigned to recover some surveillance video, and from that video we were able to determine that a certain pickup truck had gone through the neighborhood twice right before the fire. And because of the video also, we determined that they had a brake light missing and no muffler because there was actually audio on the video.
The boyfriend had a truck that matched this description. We ended up locating the pickup truck. We started the truck up. It sounded like the truck. Had the broken taillight. The actual subdivision that this occurred in, there was only one way in and one way out of the subdivision, so there were no other vehicles that were coming in and going at that time. So right away, he's our key suspect. We ended up locating the boyfriend, taking him into custody based on probable cause, conducting a post-Miranda interview with him, and during the interview, he never would confess at the fact that he did start the fire. Said that he was upset that she was there with another man, and he sat outside the residence and cried about it and then had left. Well, there was nobody who came or went prior to that, and he placed himself at the scene of the fire. We also did a search warrant on the boyfriend. At the location of his fireplace, there was a box of Duralogs with one Duralog missing out of the container, which was pretty incriminating.
Although arson is a very rare crime in Columbia, the benefit of having a detective assigned to the Fire Marshal's Division is that we're just getting more resolution to these crimes. We're working together, we train together, so it's a great way of kind of merging 2 different departments that don't work together all the time to be very effective in combating this particular crime. And by having this kind of added program, this liaison for the police department, I think we're really making the city safer for all of its citizens and visitors.